This is the fastest way that I found to level up my pinball skills, and I can do this in just 5 minutes a day. I'm Travis Murray with the Pinball Company, and I recently had a very interesting question asked of me from a player that's been playing for years and years. And one of the things that this player has ran into is that they feel like things have just gotten stagnant for them, that they've improved about as much as they can, and at this point, they feel like the improvement isn't coming anymore. I think anybody that's played pinball for a long time has probably felt this in some form or some way. We're most likely playing the same way every single time and just hoping to get better. But I can assure you, at least for me, this is the fastest way that I found to level up my pinball skills. And I can do this in just 5 minutes a day. And this is what I personally do all the time, especially when I feel stuck or a certain shot isn't clicking. I just don't want to put myself in a position to where I just keep flipping and just generally hoping that it works out. Instead, I like to narrow my focus. And by doing this, I just pick one thing to fix and I just drill that over and over and over again until I own it. In my opinion, that's how confidence is built. It's built by just doing one small piece at a time. And I want you to think of it as if this is shooting free throws or even taking batting practice. And you don't need to play a full game of pinball in order to improve. What you really need is structure and you need reps. And if you start thinking of pinball in this way, especially if you're wanting to improve, this is pretty much what can separate you from being a good player to possibly becoming a great player. And here's how you set this all up. The first thing I want you to do is turn off all the ball saves. And this is very important because it forces you to own your mistakes. It forces you to know that mistakes matter, and it forces you to really focus. So at this point, you're going to be very intentional, and every ball that you plunge, it has weight now. That's the type of pressure you want. Because here's the reality of it. Pressure is what's going to build consistency. And the next thing you need to do is make sure that you set your game to either 1 or 2 ball. But the reason for this is because it's going to force you to compress down the time that you have to qualify or start a mode, start a multi-ball, or any certain feature that you want to do. And it's going to make you to where you're better at getting your mode set up. You're going to be better at setting yourself up for success in your early game. And when you can do this, your scores will naturally go up. And then the next thing you can do is you want to start a 4-player game. Now keep in mind, this isn't for competition. You're not actually playing through 4 full players, but what you are going to do, you're going to think of this as having 4 controlled chances to work on the same exact skill with the same setup, the same conditions. Again, more reps, less randomness. Now what you're going to do is just pick one thing to focus on for your practice. Just one. It could be one shot, it could be one feature, it could be one objective. And that's it. The more narrow your focus is, the faster you will improve. I guarantee this. Again, I'll say it one more time. The more narrow your focus is, the faster you will improve. And this is because progress doesn't come from just doing 100 things halfway. It very much comes from doing one thing really well until it becomes automatic. Option 1, shot practice. Now, when you're doing shot practice, all you need to do is just choose one shot. And it could be the right ramp, it could be a side loop, it could be a shot that you just generally always miss. Or it could just be a shot that you want to make second nature. When you pick this one shot to do, you're going to do nothing but shoot that one shot across all 4 players. You're going to trap up the ball, you're going to control the pace, you're going to make sure that you have clean setups, and then you can just simply fire away from there. And you want to repeat this over and over and over again. Now keep in mind, this isn't about scoring points, but it is about building feel. It's about realizing how does the ball bounce when it comes back to the flippers. It's about realizing what angles give you the most success. Can you backhand a certain shot from a cradle? Do you have to hit it from the fly? Does your flipper timing change up with the balls moving fast versus just being stopped from a cradle? Every single rep that you get will give you feedback, and sometimes you'll miss, but that's good because it's part of the process. You can't just be perfect all the time. You're not just training your flipper control, but you're building pattern recognition. And when you're playing pinball, pattern recognition is massive. It is huge. And the more that you isolate a single shot, the more you're going to understand and start to understand everything around that shot. You're going to understand what makes it easier. You're going to understand what makes it harder. You're going to know what to expect when it's a live game. And this is how real progress is made, through focus and intelligent repetition. Option 2, feature practice. Now I want you to pick one thing that the game wants you to complete. This could be starting a mode, it could be locking a ball, it could be lighting your multipliers, or even just starting a side feature. Whatever it is, this is your only objective. You're going to ignore everything else. You're not going to chase jackpots. You're not going to worry about starting another mode. You're not going to play for score. For these types of 5-minute sessions, your entire job is to complete that feature and learn how it works. And you're going to do this across all 4 players. So again, you have 4 chances to approach the same objective, but under slightly different conditions every time. Pay close attention to how the inserts light up. Watch how they guide you. Notice the shot order. Notice which shots stay lit, which ones change, what resets. You're essentially at this point learning the language of the game because you're very focused on just that one thing. The real confidence comes from understanding. And if you practice just one feature at a time, you start to recognize these patterns like we talked about earlier. And from there, you start to predict what's coming. And the game, because of this, starts to slow down because you're no longer guessing. You're reading it and you're starting to anticipate things ahead of time. And your reaction becomes very intentional, and you're not just flipping at something simply because it's lit, but you understand why you're doing it. And once something like that clicks, you really feel it. You start to feel in control. So something like this really kind of flips the script on your gameplay, right? You're now playing with a purpose, you're building up your muscle memory, and you're controlling the ball. So drilling specific skills that you can rely on during real games, over time, this creates real confidence for you to where it's no longer luck. It's not streaky play, it's a repeatable skill. And if you're more experienced, don't be afraid to add constraints. Do something like only backhand a shot. Do something like you can't flip until you have complete control, or tell yourself I'm gonna trap up and I'm gonna count to 2 after every single shot that I hit, because that might force you to ski jump. That might force you to live catch or drop catch a little bit easier. Some of the skills that might be a little bit higher level that you understand, but it might force you to make it automatic for your current skill set, which is a great place to be at, especially if you're wanting to improve overall. So the thing to keep in mind is by adding in those constraints, you're going to start to build discipline and rhythm. And it's not just about hitting shots, right? It's about kind of owning those little moments before and after a shot. And that's really, especially for these stern modern games, or any modern game for that matter, but that's what really opens up the floodgates for those massive scores to really start pouring in. So do this for at least 5 minutes today, and you'll start playing smarter, you'll start being more efficient, and you'll start being more controlled than most players ever will be. And this isn't because you're just naturally better, but it's because you prepared better and you practice better. Other than that, that's all I got. Happy playing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.